Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to this webinar, which is a 360-degree view of good and sustainable lighting, which is being brought to you by Nichia and Lumitronics in cooperation with our speakers from Bureau Happold, Formula Luci, and NeoZoom. My name is Anna Müller. I am a business development manager at Nichia, and I'm going to be your host for the next hour, which I'm very honored to do so. And first of all, I would like to raise the housekeeping points in this webinar. In your control panel on top, you will see a question and answer tab. Feel free at any point today to pop your question to the speakers at any time, and we will get them answered during or after the speakers have completed their presentations. If you want to direct your question to a particular speaker, please say so. Any question we don't get around today, we will circulate to the speakers and we or they will get in touch with you in the next days. Today's event will be recorded and you will be getting an information when it is ready for an on-demand viewing. In this webinar, you'll obtain a 360-degree perspective of good and sustainable lighting, where innovation, quality, and design play a crucial role. Our panel of experts will provide a general market overview, the status quo, and future requirements of fixture manufacturers as well as end users. We are honored to have gathered a team of expert speakers from the lighting market. We have Paula Lungato, who is a graduate of architecture and urban planning in Brazil and holds a master's degree in architectural lighting design in Germany. Paula has worked on a variety of different lighting design projects that have won various lighting design awards. Her designs always take into account architecture, location, environment, culture, background, function, and the needs of the future users. Paula leads the lighting team in the Europe region at Bureau Happold and is a member of the board of Deutsche LED-Technische Gesellschaft. Claudius Corone holds a technical degree in electronic and is in the lighting business since 2001. Claudio works on projects in architecture, churches and cathedrals, as well as luxury retail respectively. He supports business development at FLI or Formula Luci and Folio, with focus in the field of lighting solutions for luxury retail. Next, we have Lukas Heinschel. He graduated in product and industrial design in Munich in Germany, an emerging designer with international awards. He has a strong focus on furniture, lighting, and consumer electronics. He does not only design functional and creative products, he also pushes boundaries of sustainability. Moreover, he is one of the founders of the B2C lighting startup, NeoZoom. Next, we have Giovanni Vecchio. He is the head of sales and marketing for general lighting at Nichia Europe. He has more than 20 years of experience in the semiconductor industry and has been with Nichia for the last 11 years. Over the years at Nichia, he developed a strong knowledge how to address the market's technical needs with Nichia's innovative and quality light solutions. Last but not least, we have Paul Sparenborg. He has almost 20 years of experience in the development and production of LED modules. He is the co-founder of Lumitronics and has been working as sales manager since then. In his current position as head of sales, Paul has a strong connection to the market demands of luminaire manufacturers and other industries such as white goods or transportation applications. So without further ado, let us start with our keynote speaker, Paula. So Paula, take it away.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks for the introduction. I hope you can hear me. Just give me some time. Yeah, okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this presentation. Today, I would like to bring you some thoughts and ideas about sustainable lighting. Just have a good overview of what's going on in the market today. Also based on what we have been researching in the office and with different clients I hope I can give you some impulse for further thought and action. So let me go to the next slide. Yes, okay. So yeah, the world is on fire already. We know, we see it, we experience it every day. So there are so many indications that we need to act, really. But what is the lighting industry doing and what needs to be done? I think we need, firstly, to change the mindset of how we approach a project, of how we plan. And the costs that we speak, they are not only investment costs or running costs anymore. They are planetary costs. I get a lot of requests today in projects that designs need to be future-proof. But what does that mean exactly? And then the other question that we also get asked on projects is, what is the impact of materials we plan and incorporate in buildings, including luminaires? So just a quick overview of status quo. Today, we are really starting to rethink the way we plan. And one of the key things of this rethinking attitude is the role of daylight. I know we're basically talking about electric lighting today, but for me, a great part of sustainable lighting is the use of daylight. And what we are doing today is we are satisfying minimum requirements for daylight given by the building codes, and that is really not enough. Another thing is that we are starting to reuse existing lighting equipment, equipment that was done, that is installed and is in good shape and condition that we can reuse. And then flexibility. So we are starting to think a concept, a lighting design concept with flexibility in mind and change of use in mind. So how do we do this for different project typologies? Then there is, in this reuse of existing lighting equipment and future lighting equipment, there's a question of modularity. But it seems to be like a bad word. But I don't think so. Building modular and with disassembly in mind does require a different approach. Also in the design of, not only the design of luminaires and the way light sources are embedded in the luminaires, but also in how we plan the lights. And then material cataloging is an important thing that we will be seeing more in the future. Regarding sustainability frameworks, the UN SDGs, ESG, all certifications that we know that are required for sustainable certification, they are parameters, but we need to plan with common sense. And we cannot forget that for sustainability, there are many players involved. Not one designer or one manufacturer or one installer can do sustainability on their own. We are all together in this boat, and we need to acknowledge that. I like to use this slide because it says actually what we need to, how this mindset change needs to start. So refusing to plan over or over plan actually things. Can we reduce the amount of light or increase the amount of daylight that we plan because it's there and at zero cost to the environment? Recycle is a thing, but reuse is a big thing that I am thinking is will be very hot in the lighting industry very soon. Repairing, reuse, repairing, and rot is here also as a thing. Can luminaires rot at some point? So I think we are really starting to have baby steps in the lighting industry, but this is very little in the planning and delivery of projects. We're starting to understand how we can go about things, how we can use less energy, produce less CO2, to the environment, reduce resource consumption on materials, etc. But that's very, very small steps that have been taken towards a big change. And technology is certainly helping the process. We are becoming more digital, but this also means that energy consumption in servers, etc., perhaps are not being taken into account in the whole energy consumption sum. And we are getting back to modularity, but do we understand what is really the benefit? Is everyone on board of what's the benefit of being modular with planning and with equipment, etc.? And I ask myself all the time, why are we still afraid of using more daylight? It is natural resource. It's abundantly available. No need to reforest anything to get more daylight. But that's sometimes really not the first lighting choice. And it is seen as a too expensive building material sometimes. So how does this change process go? There are so many theories about this. So what I think we are at the moment is we are acknowledging that some change needs to be done. We are accepting this challenge. This process is and will probably not be as smooth as we might want. And there's still a lot of resistance and people not knowing where to go, what to do, where to act. So this is where we are now, but things are slowly becoming clearer. The only issue is that we lack time. The change process needs to happen very, very quick. Action is required now. There are many paths leading to the future. So if we have this future clear in our heads, then the paths that we might take might be really of secondary importance if we have this goal in mind. Some topics that we regard on lighting design that do have an impact of what we are planning. I think hopefully everyone is aware of the UN SDGs, ESG, so environmental, social governance parameters, key work frames for projects now, product and building life cycle analysis, daylight provision. We really need to fall back in love with daylight, and modularity, flexibility, and adaptability. These are topics that are very hot now and will be for a long time. The manufacturing location and distance to site. So thinking globally, but acting locally is the way to go. The circular economy, there is no way around circular economy. Let's embrace it and think what that means for our activities, for our companies. And I'm sure there are many processes and steps that can be made towards a circular economy if we just start really deeply thinking about it. Inclusion must be. We can't exclude anyone, not from the manufacturing process, not from the planning process, not as a users of a space. It is a strong social aspect that we need to take care of when we're doing sustainability. And data. So data is very important because it's driving our decisions ever stronger every day. How we gather data, who can access it, and what do we do with it are still questions that are open, not really fully answered. But data is a good thing to sustainability, so using it smartly is key. So in my perspective, sustainability is a complex topic. So let's acknowledge and embrace it as it is. So the idea of getting one topic and diving in one topic only and diving it to the bottom and until it becomes sustainable is a very narrow approach to sustainability. We rather need to look at things from a wider perspective. We are absolutely not alone in this quest. And as I mentioned, no one really can do sustainability alone. It is a team effort. And actually, I'm very, very happy to be part of this panel because we are pulling strings together from different teams, different perspectives. So managing this complexity is required if we want to achieve our goals quick. And of course, we cannot tackle everything all at once. So let's prioritize. Let's see what is the low-hanging fruits that we can act upon now. And let's identify perhaps a sequence of actions that can be taken further on to reach our goal, and hopefully sooner than later. So I am a lighting designer. What is the role of the lighting designer in this thinking? So tackling all these questions alone is really overwhelming. There is no designer can do this on their own. What we need to do as lighting designers is we need to have an overview of current developments, not only in the lighting industry, but also in other industries, because there's a lot to learn if we look over the horizon. And at the same time, it's a huge opportunity for designers to influence the lighting world. We are in close contact with clients. We understand their needs and doubts, and we can service first-hand advice and planning. These conversations between clients and designers, as well as between designers and the industry, are essential. But more than conversation, critical thinking is needed. Questioning the status quo is a must because everyone will pull the strings to their ends. But at the end, we need to meet in the middle. So I think nothing of sustainability is really, really new. So think globally, acting locally, cradle-to-cradle concepts, reduce, reuse, recycle. This has been in discussion since a long time. So let's act upon this now. There's a lot that we know already. So some other thoughts. Again, daylight first. Why do we need to go sustainable? The construction industry is one of the most polluting industries in the world. This cannot continue as it is. Changing from conventional to alternative, everything, alternative plastics. And also, can we think about printing 3D parts in a decentralized manner as opposed to what we are doing today? For example, for products and luminaire parts. There is some kind of feeling that products, including the lighting products, have a pre-programmed expiry date. We need to change that. We need to change the status quo. Building to disassemble is the modularity discussion again, and it is a future trend. So we need to have equipment that can be repaired in the future, which is not the case today. There are many business cases for sustainability in the lighting industry. It's not about just plan, sell, and install. There is life after installation that we need to take care of. And I would like perhaps to raise a hand for the code to secondhand use. This business models are becoming more and more in the lighting industry, and we need to have a look at that. During the pandemic, we've discussed a lot about changing use of spaces, etc., etc. So I'm thinking whether this everything as a service might be really also a model for lighting that we need to push. There is some things around in the market already, but it's not as strong as it could be, perhaps. And then think of what needs to be and not what we can do, which is a different approach to design. And of course, the power of the specifier that I have just spoken. Just something to look out for. The CIPSI has recently published the TM66, which is public accessible paper about creating circular economy in the lighting industry. It's very, very worth a read. And also open source circular economy. So I'm being a bit pushy on the open source circular economy also for the lighting industry. Let me explain a little bit what this can be. So we know open source for software products. It's not new, and it has been around since the internet was created. So, and knowing the internet as we know it today, and thinking what would have happened to the internet were it not an open system. What I want to make people start thinking is ways of creating open collaboration in the lighting industry. How can we create opportunities for products, for hardware, to be open source so that innovation is happening rapidly? We don't need one company to think alone. We have a worldwide community that can develop innovation very quickly. So also contributing to the footprint of end use of products that are produced in one part of the world and then shipped to the other. Can we make an open source business model in lighting? A question. And why not see design, development, and production of luminaires and or parts of luminaires in an open source business environment? And we believe that there are many doors that which can be opened when open source products are available in the market, and not to the detriment of a brand. Really, on the contrary, creating possibility for exchange with a wider community can trigger innovation in extremely fast speeds. We know this also from software products. This model is really still new in the hardware world. But imagine the internet and what would have happened if it was a private-owned thing. How it would not have been embraced by the world. So open innovation under the flag of open licenses enables perhaps decentralized collaboration. Is something to think about, making it legal to modify information. It's very provocative, I know, but that's the idea of this keynote. Yeah, so let's move on. So open source circular economy, there is a lot of information about this in the internet. I'm making just an image of this poster here because it's interesting how the parameters are for planning, and it could be used in many product designs, really. So one final message is that we don't have the answer to sustainable lighting, but we do know we have a broader idea of what it might mean for the lighting industry and the pieces of the puzzle and how to get there. And we know that to get there, we need to work together. Many actors and stakeholders play a very important role in the lighting industry and in the decision-making process. So let's pull the strings together. Yeah, just to leave a quote, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And I really, truly believe this is the way we should move on. And thank you very much for the time and listening. Oops, let me go back one. Yes. So this is a quote from Pete Seeger, who's a singer, American singer, and he had this in the 80s, I think. So at the time, it was already a topic. Thank you a lot, and I will pass over to Claudio. Let me stop sharing first. Do I do that? Stop sharing. Okay. Thank you, Claudio. Over to you.
So thank you, Paola. Let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen right now? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Paola, for the introduction. Thank you, Nichia and Lumitronics, to inviting me. So I'm Claudio Scaroni. I'm the owner of CSD, that means Claudio Scaroni Developments. I work as a key account and business developer for FLI for Luce and Folio. So FLI is an Italian lighting manufacturer that produces a wide range of linears and spotlights. We are mostly involved in the high-end luxury retail projects. Also, Folio is an Italian lighting manufacturer that produces a wide range of edge lit system. We have a wide range of backlit application and bespoke solution. As I told you, just to briefly introduce ourselves, we are many often involved in high-end luxury retail project worldwide, working from the most known and important luxury brands. We do also a light of restaurant and bars project, as we are also involved in a high-end hospitality project, and in corporate, very unique application for corporates. Sometimes we are also called to create very unique bespoke application like this facade in Milano with luminous glasses, or very unique piece of art. This is just to introduce the matter of today. So the question of today is how do fixture manufacturers create a lighting solution that bring wider benefits to occupants of a lighting space and reduce impact to the environment? We strongly think that creating best tools for lighting designers is one of the answers. As Paola told, it's just we cannot do environment alone, but we can be a part of the process, and we strongly think that the lighting designers has the pivot, the director of the process for the lighting industries. The point of view of the manufacturer is an extensive reasoning on the entire life of the products, from the design to remanufacturing. So we think that using the best and most efficient source available, as using the best and most efficient optics and lenses, minimal raw material and possible recyclable material, and also a short supply chain, means sourcing locally, is another point. All these points, together with the other aspect of the products, like packaging and transport, can help and can allow the manufacturer to create a circular economy on the products. That means design the product starting from the very beginning for a second or third life of the products. Also, especially if we think on the project we are very often involved in, that has a very short life. Let me say, a high-end retail project has usually a life of 7-8 years maximum, and the lifespan of the products are most often longer, very longer than that period. Point by point, using the best and most efficient sources available, starting from early 2020, thanks to Nichia, we moved from the old LED to the new H6 LED. This is a new technology that works giving to the manufacturer the same quality of the R19 products with the efficacy of the R80. So means that we can increase the efficacy just of the lighting source up to 19% with the same quality of the lights. Of course, for a certain type of project, minimum quality of the light, that means R19, very high R9 and R15 are the starting point. Using the best and most efficient optic and lenses, that doesn't mean that we have to choose the best component on the market, but sometimes we have to approach this topic by a different point of view, maybe creating something unique, thinking positively for the products. Let me say, for example, we did for FRS, the new product FRS with FLI, we did the new optic linear system, flux recovery system, that is not a standard diffusing screen, but is really a very tiny, we are talking about 8 by 9 millimeters diffusing an optic system able to recover the entire light emitter from the LED and push out of the screen without any losses. With Folio, for example, together with the application of the new X6 LED, we starting to apply on our products a new ultra-reflecting white application on the back part of the products. By this way, together with the X6 LED, now we can have a backlit solution that reach more than 100 lumen watts, which is very impressive for this kind of technology. Also, using a minimum raw material. This is a very extensive thinking about the products. Here is an inside comparison between one of our, FLI, one of our best seller products, the 133 mini linears on your left part of the screen, compared to the new FRS 99. So if we take in consideration the efficacy of the product, so the performance, the lighting performance of the product, we can have up to close to 40% more efficacy of the products using the half of the aluminum, and in general reducing the weight and the volume of the product up to less 40%, which is really important to reduce the raw material that have to be also recyclable, and to start to design the products not only in the term of lighting performance and consumption performance, but also in terms of which is the best material that I can use, how can we redesign the products, and how can we have a different approach to design to reduce as much as possible the components to create a finished products. And this is also very important, a big challenge, but very important by our point of view. Sourcing locally. So short supply chain is another key point. As FLI and Folio, we try to have a partner and supplier very close to us. With FLI, for example, we make by ourselves, thanks to our sister company Luxia, the LED modules and the LED circuit and board, which is a supplier at 0 kilometer. For all the other components, except to the LED, that we choose to work with Nichia, so that the LED comes from Japan, but is very, let me say, they doesn't take a wall or a big amount of volume. All the other components are very, very close to our headquarters to reduce as much as possible also the supply chain and transport. A part of the products is the packaging. We have to ship this product, we have to protect the product during the shipments, and we moved from the standard old paper to the new recycled paper, and to a new adhesive paper tape, all done in recycled paper, of course. No more plastic in our packaging. This is another small step, but very important. At the end, this is another topic that have to be developed. Transport has a very strong impact on the emissions. Many often we are involved in project with a very tight schedule, and we think that this could be a part that have to be discussed with the clients starting from the beginning, the clients and the designers starting from the beginning. Of course, if we can, if the right timing will allocate into the project schedule for this part, this is really important for us to reduce maybe the impact of the emission, because if we are in rush and we have to ship by freight or by air instead of by boat, of course you can see immediately how the impact is. And this is a point that many often are not very, let me say, think inside of the design process. Takes time. We are involved in worldwide projects, but there are multiple options to reduce also the impact of the transport on the project, the finished project. At the end, all these points are a part of the process that can help the manufacturer to create a circular economy on the products. So, as Paula told, there are some draft of the regulation are coming, like the TM66, or we are also involved thanks to certain clients. For example, the high-end fashion brands are very, very high demanding in manufacturer that takes in consideration all the aspects in the design process of the products. But TM60C or lighting for goods, this kind of regulation can give to the designer a simple and very useful criteria to choose the products, not only in terms of performance, lighting performance or consumption performance, but in terms of the entire 360 degrees point of view on the products that takes in consideration the first life and also the remanufacturing to give to the products a second opportunity to be reused. And again, we strongly think that a lighting designer have to be the director of this process, have to be the pivot of this process, the fulcrum of the lighting project, because they can now design according to the total quality criteria and not based only on the quality of the lights and products in terms of reliability, but taking in consideration all the aspects seen together, from design to construction, to the components, to the supply and distribution chain, up to the withdrawal, remanufacturing, and use of the products themselves. So this is to ensure not only consumption efficacy with respect to the lighting project, but the total quality of the project throughout this expected life. So let me say, it's a great challenger for the manufacturer, especially for small manufacturer like we are. With the LED, there are now a lot of very small or medium manufacturer, maybe that's for them is quite challenging to set up his company to follow these new criteria. But it's also a great opportunity for all of us to, let me say, make a green business together and for the planet. So thank you for your attention, and now I'll pass the word to Lucas from NeoZoom.
Hi, can you hear me and see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Hi, I'm Lucas Heinschel. I'm a designer and I'm one of the 3 founders of the lighting startup NeoZoom. And today I'm going to tell you why most lamps today suck and why ours sucks the most. We are a startup in the field of upper market B2C lighting. And for our first product, we decided to enter the market with a battery powered lamp. And we decided on this specific lamp category because it's a small and power plug independent light, which means it's easier for people to integrate the products into their homes. But you may ask yourself, why do you want to enter the lighting market at all? It's already so crowded. There are already so many great lamps out there, as well as well-designed and quality-driven brands. So why? Well, let's take a closer look on lamps and more precisely the battery-powered ones out there. When we search for Akkuleuchte, that's German for battery-powered lamp in Google, we see that, okay, there are already a lot of cool lamps out there in all different price ranges, and this can be really discouraging at first. But if we take a closer look at their overall shape and the use cases and the design, we quickly start to find similarities. And one design pattern we can spot is this one. A big part of battery-powered lamps out there is a version from the, as we call it, lantern concept. And there's also a second major pattern we can spot. And this is this one. We call it the mushroom concept. And of course, there are some exceptions from those two, but really most mobile lamps out there can be put into one of these 2 concepts. Some diverge stronger from it than others. And of course, it's not necessarily a bad thing to build a product that matches widespread ideas about how a certain product should look and be like. But you're going to have a hard time getting people's attention if you do it. And in our case, if you're a small startup, it's probably not a smart thing to do. So what we've learned is that there are not so much products, meaning conceptual variations out there as we first assumed. And also what's maybe even more important is that because all of these products are clinging so much to these conservative lighting design concepts, they are not really tapping into the potential and the opportunities their independence from power plugs would allow them to do. So we at NEO soon thought, let's make a mobile lamp that's really mobile, and let's explore different and less traditional design approaches and user experience approaches to this product segment. And this is the result of our process. It's our first product, and it's a lamp that really sucks because thanks to its big custom engineered suction cup, you can attach this lamp to almost every surface within a matter of seconds and remove it just as fast. Totally residue free. This is really one lamp with endless possibilities. And because this lamp, especially when you put it in a window, is kind of like your own personal sun, we decided on using the OptiSolis LEDs by Nichia, which provide light in natural daylight quality and with a full spectrum. And this really matches our product and brand communication. But besides design and usability, there's really one more thing all of these lamps have in common, and that's that they are all future garbage. And we don't like to think about it so much as manufacturers, but this is pretty much what we are manufacturing in the end. And we have to take more responsibility for it. Because today, more than 90% of all products end as waste, and we need to take more responsibility for this. So besides the question, when you make a new product, is there a market opportunity, or is it a good idea to enter the market with this product? We also need to ask ourselves, is it a responsible thing to do, and how can we make it so? Well, 80% of a product's environmental impact are predetermined during its design phase. So as you can see, we have an extremely big impact on how our products do in the world. But let's get more into detail, and I'm going to tell you what's helped us at NEO soon to make our product better and more sustainable. And we looked at the product life and divided it into its 3 segments. And yeah, this is what a traditional product life looks like today, from raw material extraction to garbage. And this is right now the overall framework we are all acting in. And let's look into it in more detail, and I'm going to tell you some things we are doing at NEO soon to make it a better product. In the pre-use phase, many brands, products, and companies already act to become better and more sustainable. And that's because it's the part of a product's life we have the most control over. And actions we're taking at NEO soon are, for example, guaranteeing responsible manufacturing conditions by producing locally in Germany. And this also helps us cut emissions because we have really short distances between our different manufacturing partners. In the use phase, we already have less direct control about what happens with our products and how they're handled. However, there's a lot of things we can do during the design process to reduce our environmental impact here. And this is really the phase where we can achieve the most. And the most important thing we need to do is make sure our products can stay in use as long as possible, so they don't need to be replaced by new ones. And we can do that in many different ways, but the key is to make our products repairable. And at NEO soon, for example, we only use screws and plug-in connections, so parts that break sooner than others can be replaced in effortless ways. Other steps we can take to extend the life of our product is pick long-lasting and well-aging materials, but also make products more adaptable to different situations and changes in their users' needs. And we also need to make them more beautiful too, so people stay more attached to them. For lamp, it's also important to have a high-quality light source, and not only because it lasts longer and contributes to the overall quality, but because there are also health issues related to good lighting, and we can expect consumer awareness to rise about this. And so you can see a lot can be done during the design phase, that's also really important here. So let's jump to the post-use phase. And today, post-use means in most cases the garbage dump or incineration. But at New Soon, for example, we try to catch our products in time before they get thrown away. And we do that by offering our users incentives if they send us their products back and when they are broken. So we can re-engineer them to improve future generations, but we can also salvage parts from them. We can repair them and we can resell them. And the worst case is that we have to recycle them. And I know that for many bigger manufacturers right now, this is a really expensive and logistically complicated thing to do, to take their products back and to offer repair services and spare parts. But there are already a lot of big companies, for example, Vibra or IKEA, who start to implement buyback programs for their products. And making our products more sustainable is really an enormous challenge, and there are no one-fits-all solutions. But when we boil it down to one key element, I think the thing we all should focus most on is make our products last longer by using quality components and materials, and most important, by making them repairable. And that not only helps to keep the products longer in use, but also makes it easier for them to be dismantled, to be refurbished, or to be recycled. And we can also expect governments to take more and more concrete actions about this, and the consumer awareness to rise about these topics. And make products repairable is honestly not optional for manufacturers, and we won't have a chance in the future, in the near future. And that's because we already start to experience what it means when supply chains get disrupted and certain materials are no longer available, but also because we can expect governments to take more actions. And to end my presentation, I've got a quote for you. It's in German and in English. It says more or less, we want to make sustainability by design the standard for products. We make the lifespan and repairability of our products. Oh, so sorry. I start again. We want to make sustainability by design the standard for products. We make the lifespan and repairability of a product a recognizable characteristic of the product's property. Right to repair. We ensure access to replacement parts and repair manuals. Manufacturers must provide updates during the usual usage time. And this is in fact a quote from the coalition agreement of the current German government, and the European Union is also steering in a similar direction. So you see, it's really now or never when we are going to stay in control about the changes we are going to have to make as manufacturers. Thanks. And now I'm giving the stage to Giovanni of Nicia.
Thank you, Lucas. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. Yeah, my name is Giovanni Vecchio. I'm the head of sales and marketing for General Lighting LED of Nicia, Europe. Today, I would like to show you an insight into the development of technologies in the lighting industry over the past few years, as well as future prospects, including current LED trends, and ask the question, does today's LED technology support good and sustainable light? But first, let me briefly introduce Nicia Corporation. Founded in 1956 in the Japanese city of Annan, Nicia is a family-owned company by the Ogawa family. It started out making chemicals, including phosphorus, used in lighting products and televisions. It was in Nicia where in 1993, the blue LED was invented, which enabled the bright and energy-saving light, white light sources of today. Fast forward to 2022, Nicia's main products are LED, including UV and laser diode, phosphorus, lithium-ion battery material, and magnetic materials. Employing more than 9,000 people, the Ogawa family is still very much hands-on in the company operation. Nicia has 3 main production sites in Japan: Tatsumi plant with LED production for automotive, display, and lighting; Naruto plant here at the right side with LED production for general lighting and backlighting, and in Annan, where Nietzsche's headquarters is located, for production of LED and laser diodes. Let's move now to the technology trends in the lighting industry since the birth of the white LED. The Japan Lighting Manufacturer Association and Nietzsche see the development as follows. It all started with the goal of saving energy and the replacement of traditional lighting. And we are still in this phase, as the next slide will show. From 2010 onwards, major efficiency gains have been achieved, while between 2010 and 2020, the focus towards quality of light has started. Not that long ago, that control systems from tuning of color temperature to real smart lighting, including AI, IoT, began. What has been said so far is something that most of us already know or have heard, but what comes next? Are there also functions of light that protect and are good for human health? That part is what we define as the new value here on top of lighting. LEDification, as mentioned in the previous slide, the phase where we are still in. It all started with the basic conversion from the traditional to LED. For this purpose, the lighting industry has focused to ensuring a one-to-one replacement. The criteria for this were simple. High brightness means more lumen, high efficacy, more lumen per watt, long lifetime, of course, to reduce maintenance costs. And history tells us that the LED, as we all know, did a great job here, right? Bravo. But should we be satisfied with that? Or can we be satisfied with all the technologies that are available to us? This brings us to the first main topic of the day, quality of light. An area where more attributes count than those just discussed, like visual appearance, emotional character, and sustainability. And here's the technology that the market has been waiting for long. For a long time, the lighting market had to sacrifice efficiency in return for higher CRI. For CRI greater 90 compared to CRI 80, efficiency losses more than 15% were common. In some cases, as Claudia reported, up to 19%. With the H6 LED series, yeah, basically you can have it all. And you will agree with me, this is a breakthrough in the lighting industry. So rich, vivid color, bright quality light, high efficacy, and long lifetime, all that with the same efficacy as CRI 80, which is nowadays the standard in the general lighting market. And it is, of course, no coincidence that this technology had received multiple awards and recognitions, as you can see at the bottom right part of the slide, like Best of Category LED, Top 10 Must-See Products at Light Fair 2021, Sapphire Awards, etc., etc. The next candidate that I would like to introduce to you today, and that definitely belongs in the category new value, is the 2-in-1 tunable white LED. The innovative 2-in-1 tunable white mid-power LED in the so-called 757 package enables improvement of color tuning, shrink optics. Yes, sure. Shrink optics while enabling new design options. This is the industry first tunable white LED in a mid-power 3030 package with a single light emitting subphase. One LED like a common one, but tunability within one package without physical wall behind it. The 2-in-1 LED allows then great color tuning because everything is under one LES. Currently, luminaire manufacturers must use two LEDs in side by side to achieve color tuning, This creates unwanted optical distributions and visual effects. The 2-in-1 LED technology also allows higher color quality. On top of the CRI 80, we have just released the CRI 90 version, all available in the popular CCT regions. When we talk about sustainability, especially in the lighting industry, those two technologies should not be missing. The sustainability top characteristics in general lighting should be efficacy, environmentally friendly, and helpful in everyday life of people. For the two LED technologies mentioned here means, for example, for H6, high efficacy, excellent quality of light with high CRI, long lifetime. All this helps to reduce replacement rate of the lamps. And for the 2-in-1, through the ability to save fixture materials with new design, slicker design, thinner, and it offers a simple solution for storage topics of multiple LEDs while using 2 instead of 1 LED. In addition to the technologies mentioned, there are other LED technologies available that plays a significant role when it comes to people-centric in the so-called new value. And one candidate has been already mentioned by Lucas, is OptiSolis, light so natural. OptiSolis is the world's first series of package LEDs and chip-on-board solutions that mimic natural light sources without producing any harmful UV light. The exceptional high CRI value of 98 delivers R9, which is the red content, of over 94. Due to the virtual absence of UV, the solution not only illuminates objects in a more vivid way, but it sustains them at their optimum, helping to avoid the deterioration of objects like artworks or printed materials or textiles. And in retail, for instance, OptiSolis is perfect to present the products in a more impactful way through its natural illumination. Furthermore, the wide spectrum, which is similar to natural light, produces a comfortable illumination. Finally, to mention that based on a study done by Fraunhofer Institute, OptiSolis scored higher naturals and higher ratings in comfortability compared to standard LEDs. VitaSolis, light so stimulating. This is another candidate in the new value. White LEDs generally consist of blue light source with a layer of phosphor on top. Here you can see in yellow. And this combined create white light. Usually those solutions does not provide a strong cyan component in their spectrum, because this comes at a cost in terms of luminous efficacy. This means standard LEDs struggle to provide truly human-centric solutions that stimulate the human body. So VitaSolis is different. It uses a unique combination of phosphorus called SAE, combined with a blue LED with a slightly longer peak wavelength. This increases the amount of cyan in the resulting natural white light, allowing VitaSolis to generate the optimum characteristics of light that our bodies use to regulate our body clock and help to improve motivation and productivity without losing efficacy. The solution also delivers a crisper white and a wider wavelength spectrum for more comfortable illumination. So with that said, VitaSolis technology incorporates the energy savings of LED and the advantages of human-centric lighting. DynaSolis, light so dynamic. DynaSolis is a new circadian tune technology that supports the optimization of the circadian rhythm, enabling melanopsin stimulation and color temperature adjustment, while maintaining high color rendering and high efficiency. Combining two LEDs here at the top to enable true dynamic lighting with both color and spectrum tuning. Most commercially available human-centric lighting systems primarily work by adjusting the color temperature. While Nietzsche's Dynasolis addresses color tuning, it also emphasizes efficacy, color quality, and most importantly, increased melanopsin stimulation. With the help of this technology, there are many applications that could benefit. Lighting for offices, hospitals, factory facilities, and schools, and also the ability to contribute towards improving the points for the well-building standard. Compared to Vitasolis, the slide before, that has been introduced in 2019, the circadian tune LED pairing builds on these innovations, but offer a more dynamic and tunable solution to the lighting industry. Last but not least, coming out soon, another scientific results from Fraunhofer, this time based on Dynasolis technology regarding improved alertness and attention coming from this solution. Finally, let me add that we are aware that some LED technologies presented here may need more explanation. I would therefore like to invite you to take a look at our new web page, which you will find, where you will find example explanatory videos and articles about the latest technologies. Here you see Vitasolis is there, Optisolis, Dynasolis, Edge, H6, all the latest innovations. Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for attending. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation. For any questions or feedback, please feel free to use the Q&A at the end of this webinar or send an email to the address shown here. Yeah, and now I hand out to Paul from Lumitronics. Thanks.
Paul, du bist mute.
Sorry. Now let's start again. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to show you how we implement those technologies and requirements from the market into hardware, which is to be implemented into lighting systems to offer complete system with good lighting to support human-centric lighting concepts. We at Lumitronics are LED specialists since almost 20 years. We are developing our lighting control gears and our light sources in-house, and we're producing them in-house in Hechingen, south of Germany. We are cooperating with Nichia since more than 10 years and are very happy to use your technologies. We're approximately 70 employees in Hechingen and have been founded in 2005. But let me dive a little more deeper into the topic. So we all know that indoor lighting is very, very important towards most people, especially nowadays. Many people spend approximately 90% of their time inside. During the past 2 years, this problem has been even bigger. But on the daylight is often not the main light source. As Paula said, daylight might be the best solution in the end, but often it is not available. The artificial light does not offer the brightness and does also not offer the rhythm of the natural light. And this causes negative health consequences. Human-centric lighting concepts should focus on people and their natural needs. Light needs to support human circadian rhythm. And human-centric light sources should therefore be able to imitate the natural daylight with brightness and spectral composition. They should be able to provide the right light at the right place at the right time, and for the respective activities, and thereby create visual and emotional added value. There is growing awareness, but there needs a lot of research what this actually means. We at Lumitronics are not able to answer all these questions, but we are able to provide the right hardware to find the right solution for each application. And we have been very happy to see that Nichia is starting to offer a lot of different LED solutions, which help us great time to be able to offer hardware supporting human-centric lighting concepts. And the newest concept we're implementing is adding the new Dinosaurless LED from Nichia, combining it with the H6 series to create very good light, which is activating and still has a high efficiency to reach the highest demands of the European regulations also on efficiency. But the light source itself is only one part. The other part is the control gear to offer the dynamic lighting needed in the application. So you will need an individual light control of all parameters, and we're using Casambi to make this possible. You can include sensor options, and you can include individual input controls like capacitive sensors or switches. So the full system might look, as an example, something like this. You have a power controller, Casambi power controller, which is offering the control gear with the app from Casambi. We have the Dinosaurless circadian tunable white LED module, which is conformal to the Saga standard, offers CRI larger than 90 with 2000 Kelvin to up to 6500 Kelvin tunable white. To be able to react on the surrounding conditions, you can include a sensor to measure the brightness level and also react to motion, and also, of course, a manual switch to be able to interact with to give the user the possibility to interact with the system. Within the Casambi app, you're able to create your individual LED lamp scenery. You are able to set up the circadian rhythm supporting change of the color of the brightness. Whatever that means in the application might be very different depending on the actual application area. But Casambi is offering a very, very smart and easy system to individualize the system in the end for the application. So I'd be able to talk with you about details on these aspects for hours and hours. Please, if you have questions, come back to us and ask them. We are very happy to be able to use Nichia LEDs to create the lighting systems we are producing at Lumitronics. And thank you, Anna, for the opportunity. I'll hand back to you now to go into the question and answer.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks to all the speakers for giving us a general market overview and telling us why sustainability and lighting is not just a buzzword and should not stop as a buzzword. It is inspiring to see your constant endeavor. To all the speakers, thank you so much. And your constant way to achieve good and sustainable lighting. And we are glad that you shared your latest lighting products and technologies that are proofs of best practices of sustainable lighting solutions. We have received a lot of questions, and let me try to raise them to the right person. We also have already answered several questions in the Q&A chat room. But right, so there is a question here for Claudio. How much are the final customers interested and involved in these processes? And what are the big groups, fashion and hospitality, doing about it?
Okay, thank you, Anna, for the questions. As I previously mentioned very quickly during my presentation, so the fashion, the leading fashion group like LVMH or Kering are very high in demanding in this kind of matters. I mean, as a manufacturer and as a supplier of this kind of client, we are subject to supply them. So we have a score. We have been scored from different criteria like Lighting for Good or EcoVadis, and we have to increase and check our score annually, and they take in consideration 360 degrees life of the products and all the process. We have to supply them all the info about our inside process, manufacturing process, if we use, I don't know, energy from all the sources of new energy, if which kind of raw material we use, which kind of packaging, and we have to stay inside of the regulation. For example, WMH is a part of Lighting for Good project, which is a panel of lighting designer, manufacturers, and the end users to create a score of a certain type of products and to design the products by different ways to create a circular economy. So many clients are very high demanded and are very focused at, and I think more and more will be focused on this in the next future.
Thank you very much. We are actually over. We have achieved. We reached 15 minutes over our timeline. So I'll just try to get one question for each of the speakers. The next one is, I suppose, for Lucas. It's much easier to make a product sustainable when it's positioned in the upper price segment, but a lot of people can't afford those products. So do you think this kind of sustainability is fair, and could it be more affordable and inclusive?
Thanks for the question. I think of course, it's more easier when you can afford to use high quality materials and so on for the manufacturing. But I think we also, as consumers, need to shift our perspective, what we need to consume. So, and if you look at it in the long term, a more expensive but more quality product can be cheaper in the end because you can use it a long time. If it's well designed, you can repair it. In best case, it's even an heirloom. And in the same time you use this one product, you would have to use several cheap ones that break during the usage time. So I think we really need more to have a shift from this fast fashion kind of consumption and when it comes to products, and more to a fewer but better things perspective. Thanks.
Thank you so much. For Paul, since you talked about best practice in HCL application, what challenges do you experience for human-centric lighting applications? And do you really think that the market is ready for HCL or human-centric lighting?
Thank you very much for the question. I think the biggest hurdle we're experiencing right now in the market is, from my perspective, that many companies using our hardware do not actually know what customers expect from a good human-centric lighting system in the end. There is a lot of technological possibilities to realize, but very often they don't meet the actual demand of customers and therefore fail in the mass market. It will have to be learned by us and by our customers, by lighting fixture producers over time, which solutions, which technical possibilities are actually useful. And I'm sure we'll also get a great deal of support by science in that area.
Okay, for Giovanni, how forward can we think of the further development of LED? I think the question means, is there still a room for development? Because it seems that Nietzsche keeps on developing. So how further will the development be for LED?
Yeah, thank you for this question. Yeah, honestly speaking, I think we are quite forward nowadays. So we see that there's the lighting market can somehow or has difficulties to catch up with these innovative LED solutions, right? Nevertheless, I think there's a quite huge potential, and especially in the range where other speakers also mentioned integration in buildings, being more somehow see the whole picture of sustainability for the discrete light source. And especially in the phosphor technology, which Nietzsche has more than 50 years of experience, we do believe there is a lot of potential for well-being and also, of course, sustainability topics. So we don't see the end yet, and we will put huge effort in R&D for the next years to come. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We will end it here, but I will give Paula the last words. Maybe you have a sentence or two to just again sum up what you have presented and give us your let's say last words before I end the event.
Okay. Thanks, Anna, for that. Actually, I was noting a few things while everyone was speaking. So one of the things that caught my attention is this sustainability by design that Lucas was mentioning on the coalition agreement of the German government. I think everything that I presented is basically trying to position ourselves as designers in a way that when we do design, when we think about design, that we think sustainably. So I'm very, very happy to see that that many of the topics that I've discussed at the beginning are already a reality in the industry. And then the fast fashion lighting and having fewer but better equipment, I think this is a way to go. Now, this is what I was trying to say when we do need to think what we really need, and especially in the outdoor lighting, we see so much too much lighting, and we see also so much and too much of the wrong lighting, and it's affecting our health, it's affecting the planet, it's affecting animals. So do we need all of that, or can we live with less, basically? I think I will leave it at that.
Thank you so much. Again, thanks to all the speakers and thanks to everyone who attended this event. If you have other questions, do write them to the email address that were provided by the speakers or write back to the email that confirmed your registration. There should be someone who will gather all those questions. Thank you again and have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.